That competitive drive is always going to be instilled in you. And if you can apply what you learned as an athlete into your everyday life, you become unstoppable. What's going on, guys? We're back with another video, and today I want to be talking about how sports gave us the advantage. Dude, if you grew up playing sports like how I did, I started playing soccer when I was 5. I didn't stop until I was 21 when I graduated from college. And even if you didn't play through college, through high school or whatever it was, it gave us character traits that I believe not a lot of people have. Only because in sports, you need to develop hard work. You need to develop discipline, consistency. You need to be motivated. You need to have a desire and a goal. All of these push you to be a better person, especially when you're looking for playing time, especially when you're looking to start or to just get better at the craft. Think about it. Growing up, practicing, playing soccer, you are right-footed and you need to practice your left foot. You need to practice kicking with your left. You need to practice receiving the ball with your left. You need to practice turning your hips to the left. Like, you need to do all these different things to be a better player. It's the same idea with basketball and all these other sports. You need to develop habits that are going to get you better at the craft. Now, when we talk about these specific character traits, discipline, motivation, consistency, hard work, just that desire to get better, these character traits can be instilled into your everyday life. This is why I feel like as a former athlete, we have the advantage just because we got that competitive drive. And when you're playing against the player, the opponent, and you guys are talking smack, you know, you're defending him, you're guarding him, and he's saying like he's gonna cross you up or whatever it is, and like you got cookies and you kind of steal the ball, like you do things like that, you're gonna talk your smack back. Like that competitive drive, dude, it drives you to be better. It drives you, and it should fuel you if you never got the playing time to like work at it and be like, I deserve to start. I'm gonna get better. I want a starting spot. Those things that sports teaches us can be instilled into everyday life. Because right now, if you're not happy with your job and you're just settled and you're just cruising by hoping that one day the manager is gonna give you a raise, you're likely not going to get it because you're not instilling that drive, that work ethic, that competitive nature that you have as an athlete to get better at your job, or maybe to have the conversation, or maybe to bring up the idea. All of these things are what we need to do every single day. Even as a parent, some of you are parents, you got kids, you should be competitive with them. You should have that drive to be better so that way you can show them, not just talk about how back in my days I was the best athlete, back in my days I did this, back in my days I could run forever. Nobody cares. Nobody cares, to be honest. And unless you're willing to show the receipts now, then it's just all talk. And if you were an athlete who played and you really didn't care, you kind of were just on the team and you kind of just were like whatever, you felt that. You felt that. You knew who your best player was. You knew who your best teammate was. You knew who was the team captain and why they were a team captain. They had those character traits that were able to lead other people. Not everybody can be a leader. And if you had an opportunity to be a leader like me, having captain badges on your arms, you had that for a reason. You had that drive, you had that commitment, you had the desire, you had the leadership skills to push others, pick them up when they're down, and those are things that cannot be taught. You guys, these things cannot be taught. Not everybody is supposed to be a leader. Not everybody has the ability to be a leader. So growing up playing sports, you have the advantage over people who didn't, over people who are just cruising by, who are just kind of like going through life. And right now, if you're not happy with how you look, or how you feel, or how you're showing up for work, how you're showing up as a dad, as a parent, it's because you have these character traits that you just don't implement anymore. You don't have that championship game that you're working towards. You don't have the playoffs that you're working through. You don't have preseason and season and postseason. You don't have any of that. You lost the structure, and that's fine. But now, if you can remember those character traits that you're always gonna have, I'm very competitive, dude. You remember those character traits, dude, you become unstoppable. And that's why I'm talking about this today, because it's very easy to forget how good of a player you were or how competitive you actually were. And it's very easy to not implement it into everyday life because nobody talks about it. You have that drive, you have that commitment, you have the desire, and if you're just not happy with where you're at right now, you're responsible for changing it, not anybody else. So hopefully this resonated. Hopefully you found value from this. I hope that I inspired you to take action today, do something different, work at something better today, because we only get one life, right? We only had one opportunity to play sports, and now we'll get lucky if we play on like a recreational Sunday league or something, and even then, it's not the same. You have to be willing to take that first step forward. Do that thing that scares you today. You got to be willing to put yourself first, because you have that competitive drive that not a lot of people do. So I appreciate you for listening in. Hopefully you found this valuable. Let me know down in the comments if you want to hear more talks like this, or maybe if it resonated. I want to know. I want to know a little bit more about your story, because as an athlete, you guys, it's important to talk about what we're proud of, and that's something that I'm currently learning how to do. Starting the gym, going to school, going to work, starting a business. Like, guys, as a former athlete, you have the advantage to do this because you got that competitive drive that nobody else does. As an entrepreneur, this shit is hard, bro. This is one of the most difficult things that I've ever worked through, because it is testing me every single day to keep those character traits of discipline, staying motivated, having the desire, showing up, working hard. Like it requires all of this to happen regardless of how I feel. I hope you guys have the best day of your entire life. I'll talk to you guys on the next one. Peace.